Since the beginning of March, silver price has already gained over 20%, even after a bit of a decline over the last couple of weeks. At the moment, silver price is around $27 per ounce. It's far from any sort of new all-time highs, but once the Fed returns to easy money policy, precious metals, including gold and silver, are likely to strengthen significantly. And once this new trend of stronger precious metals prices is established, smaller junior developers and explorers, perhaps some of the small producers as well, are likely to provide that additional torque to your precious metals portfolio. And in today's video, I want to introduce one of such junior developers, explorers, Dolly Varden Silver. In fact, over here at myfinancesteacher.org, we do regularly review some of the most interesting, some of the most promising juniors. Scrolling down a little to this category, juniors in metals, this example over here, the most recent review, is in fact about Dolly Varden. Generally, this information is exclusive to the members at myfinancesteacher.org, so make sure to join us. For now though, let's look at some information about Dolly Varden Silver, and there is much more detail back at myfinancesteacher.org. Let's first start with a quick overview what Dolly Varden is. Basically, it's a silver, gold, copper explorer all the way up in the Golden Triangle in Canada. This explorer is located in the southern tip of the Golden Triangle. And starting with some of the most recent news regarding Dolly Varden is that all the way back in late March, they raised $15 million, which together with the available cash will provide enough funding for their 2024 drill program. But what's more interesting with this recent news is that Sprott has increased its backing of Dolly Varden even as recently again as this late March 2024. This capital raise, this 15 million, were raised by issuing shares, so dilution is around 5%. Despite that, since about early to mid-March, share price of Dolly Varden has increased by around 16%. Again, as we've seen the silver price recently, the rise in Dolly Varden despite the dilution is most likely due to the rising silver and gold prices. Moving on to the project that Dolly Varden has, as an explorer, the main value is in producing really nice drill results. But an additional cherry on top with Dolly Varden here is that they already have a defined resource. In fact, usually talking about these junior miners with the members at myfinancesteacher.org, I do like to invest into these juniors with some defined resource because that provides some cushion of safety, meaning that once precious metals prices do eventually produce new sustained all-time highs, I would not end up investing into an explorer that isn't actually successful, that doesn't actually have any of those precious metals. Again, for that reason, I do like to invest into juniors with something in the ground already, but most of the value would come from producing new favorable drill results. So the projects that Dolly Varden is working at are Kitsault Valley and Big Bulk. Kitsault Valley is a relatively large project, covers 163 square kilometers, and it consists mainly of a couple of parts. Dolly Varden in the south, which is around 88 square kilometers, and Homestake Ridge in the north, which is around 75 square kilometers. Looking at this slide, this map, the left side of this map is the Kitsault project, and the right side of this map is Big Bulk. Now coming back to Kitsault, as I mentioned, the northern part is mostly Homestake Ridge, the southern part is mostly called Dolly Varden. The whole project in total, as you see, does include several zones with already defined resource. By the way, the maiden resource was announced all the way back in 2015. Now switching from Kitsault project to Big Bulk, it actually covers around 26.4 square kilometers, and at the moment it's not completely owned by Dolly Varden. Instead, they have an option to earn in up to 100%, of this southern part of Big Bulk, which likely contains a large copper porphyry. And based on the scale, the distance between these two projects is only about 5 kilometers. So all in all, Dolly Varden is exploring mostly for silver, followed by gold, and with some very nice possibility of a large copper porphyry in the southern part of Big Bulk. Huge areas of Kitsold project are still underexplored, so there's a great potential for new high-grade results this year in 2024. So I'm looking forward for the drill results from the Kitsold project. As for the big bulk, the drilling hasn't started yet at the moment. Dolly Varden is collecting data on prior drilling by a couple of previous operators. Talking about big bulk, the earn-in, which gives an option to earn up to 100% of the southern part containing the copper porphyry, requires that Dolly Varden spends nearly $1.5 million into exploring big bulk over the next few years, specifically by the end of 2027. Hence, exploration potential from both of these projects is very promising, and as I mentioned, the cherry on top are defined resources. Not only inferred, they even have M&I resources already. As for gold, they have M&I resources of 166,000 ounces, plus an inferred resource of over 800,000 ounces. For silver, Dolly Varden Silver has nearly 35 million ounces of silver in M&I resources, and inferred resources are at nearly 30 million ounces. Now, if you exclude inferred resources completely, so if you are trying to be somewhat conservative, although can you really be conservative looking at these junior explorers? In either case, excluding the inferred resources at a gold price of, let's say, $2,300 and silver price of around $28, just the indicated resource would exceed the value of $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion compared to the current market cap of under $200 million. That does look pretty promising to me. Hence, I am a shareholder of Dolly Varden, as is shown in this model portfolio over here. Of course, there is no guarantee that Dolly Varden will ever reach a valuation anywhere close to $1 billion. After all, it doesn't include any capex requirements to build the mine, which would probably be several hundreds of millions of dollars. But as I mentioned, there is an exciting potential for new discoveries, and the existing resource isn't that far from existing infrastructure. For example, the Kitsold project is only about 30 kilometers from Kitsold town, 30 kilometers from a power grid, 25 kilometers by road from tidal water access at Alice Arm, and around 46 kilometers from deep water access at Port of Stewart. By the way, this is a map of two perspectives of this Kitsold Valley project. The northern part, which is the left side of your screen right now, that is a Homestake Ridge. The southern part on the right side of your screen, Dolly Varden part. We see gold and silver defined resources, including some of the most recent discoveries at Wolf and Moose deposits. Plus 2024 is likely to produce more interesting drill results. Talking about drill results, last year during 2023, Dolly Varden drilled over 51.5 kilometers in dozens and dozens of holes, and they have been quite successful with the results of that drill campaign. According to Sean Kunkun, that's the CEO, and I quote, "Our drill results from Homestake Silver were among the highest grade gold and silver intercepts anywhere in the Golden Triangle in 2023. So out of a wealth of information at this post, one highlight for the southern part of Kitsold project, Dolly Varden best drill results would be 461 grams per ton of AG equivalent, that's silver equivalent, over nearly 27 meters. And for the northern part of Kitsold project, Homestake Ridge, among dozens and dozens of highlights mentioned in this recent article, one of the best is probably over 18.5 grams of gold equivalent over 2.5 meters. So again, the best drill results in the Golden Triangle during 2023. And for this year, for 2024, Dolly Varden plans to drill 25 kilometers with a split of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 1/3 at the northern part of Kitsold, Homestake, 1/3 in the south, Dolly Varden more specifically closer to Wolf deposit area, and 1/3 of the drill campaign would drill all over the Kitsold project for new, completely new discoveries. And if they do discover new deposits in 2024, I wouldn't mind at all if share price rises to, say, a round number of $1. By the way, talking of shares and cash, Dolly Varden is fully funded for the 2024 drill campaign. They do have around 21 million Canadian dollars in the bank. As for shares, looking at fully diluted shares, that would be around 302 million of fully diluted shares. And as I mentioned, while I am a tiny shareholder as well, it's very reassuring that such giants as Hecla and Sprott do have a significant allocation of shares as well. Hecla owns 15% of Dolly Varden. Sprott himself owns 10%, in addition to what's invested through his precious metals fund. So in summary, I do like Dolly Varden, and as I mentioned to the members at myfinancesteacher.org, I will purchase more shares sometime over the next couple of months once the intermediate cycle low in gold and silver actually takes place. And around that intermediate cycle low, I'll be looking forward to purchase other similar explorers that we do discuss with the members at myfinancesteacher.org over here in the category Juniors for Metals. So make sure to join us. Simply click this Join Now button. We have a wealth of information waiting for you. For now, I wish you a productive Monday. Have a marvelous Monday. Bye-bye.